So I think we have a couple of minutes left, and we'll be having more people joining in. But in the meantime, if we could quickly have a round of introductions, I'll start with myself, and then we can have the four participants for today. If you can just give a brief one line about yourself. Okay. So I'll start with my introduction. My name is Sathya, and some of you know me, some of you know me through my wife Anusha. And quizzing is something which has been very close to my heart since my school days. I mean, I've been quizzing at school level, even at college level, but for quite some time now, I did not get the opportunity to actually conduct a good quiz. Although I have been doing that, I mean, I did that for quite a few years for the Rotary Club. They used to have a quiz, and I used to conduct them the annual quiz. I think it was called the TM Nanavati quiz or something. But due to the pandemic, that broke off. But after a very long time, Anusha said, "Why not do something like this, an online quiz on Zoom?" And I happened to watch something on YouTube where something called Quizzing with Comedians. I don't know whether you have heard of this thing, where Kumar Varun does this great quizzing show with stand-up comics, but it's purely a quizzing show. So I thought, let's come up with something of the similar format, and so here we are. So one by one, if I can just have a quick word from the four participants, who, by the way, today are Ashita, Ariz, uh, Karan, and Piyush. So just a brief introduction of Ashita.
Yeah, good evening, sir. My name is Ashita Sabiki, and I am a law student currently studying in second year in MSU.
Okay. By the way, it's Satya. I hope everybody's fine me calling everybody by their first name, because sir मैम का formality में घुसेंगे तो तकलीफ हो जाएगी. So I hope everybody's okay with the first name basis.
Yeah,
Absolutely. In fact, we would like it.
Great. So I think we are going to do this alphabetically. So after Ashita, Aris, if you could just give a brief introduction.
Hi Satya, hi everyone. I'm Ariz. I'm a banker by profession and love quizzing, so I'm looking forward to this session.
Great. Karan,
Yes, hi everybody. I'm Karan. I am an IT professional based out of Pune, and I've been quizzing since my school days. I'm so looking forward to this quiz session today.
oh,
Thanks.
great. And Piyush.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. I'm Piyush. Live in Ahmedabad. I'm a corporate trainer. I've been a trainer for the last almost 2 decades. I used to be an avid quizzer during my school and college days, but I've never quizzed after college. So this is as good as new to me.
Okay. Uh, that was a great introduction. I hope everybody is comfortable with the format now. I'm going to put across the rules of how this thing is going to work. It's just a set of 20 questions, and it's general trivia. So all type of subjects are game. I'll quickly start with, I mean, we have done with the hi, hello. I'll go with the basic rules. For those who are not into quizzing or have not quizzed for a long time, the format that we are going to follow for today is something called infinite bounds. So, how this format works is we start with the first question, and we'll be following the alphabetical order. So, the first question will be asked to the person first in alphabetical order. In this case, that's Ashita. A humble request, please allow me to complete the question, right? So because there is no cutting in between, there's no buzzer round, so you'll get adequate time to answer this question. Allow me to complete the question. Before any answer is given, once I've asked the question, if any clarification has to be asked, you may ask for clarifications. At my discretion, I will give clarifications. But once the first participant has attempted the question, I will not be giving any more clarifications, at least for the first round, right? So once if the first person correctly answers the question, then plus 10 points for that. And if I do not get an accurate answer, or I get a part answer, then at my discretion, I may award part points for it. And throughout the quiz, there is no negative marking. So I have absolutely no fears in just giving out a random answer. We are not going to have any penalty for any negative marking. Okay. So if the first participant, or the participant who has been asked the direct question, answers it correctly, then obviously the next question goes to the next participant in alphabetical order. And if the person who's got the direct question does not answer or gives a wrong answer, the question passes on to the next person in the alphabetical queue. And the question keeps on passing to the next person until we get the right answer. So we all the four participants will get to attempt the answer if nobody in between answers it correctly. And once all the four participants have tried, and if there is no correct answer, that is, if the question remains unanswered, then I may provide additional clues and we may conduct one more round. So with the additional clue, obviously, it will be half the marks, only plus 5 marks in if we go into a second round. After the first, so there are a total of 20 questions. So in the first set, we'll be going in alphabetical order. And once first 10 questions are over, we will reverse the order, just to make it fair. So we'll go in the reverse alphabetical order. So then we'll be going with Piyush, Karan, Ariz, and Ashita. And obviously, the decision of Quizmaster, final, banding, and blah, blah, blah. Now, uh, how basically this will work is if Ashita, suppose, gets the first direct question. Ashita does not answer it, it passes on to Ariz. Ariz is not able to answer, it passes on to Karan. And Karan does answer the question. Then the points are awarded to Karan, and the next question will go on to the next person in the queue. So Piyush will be the person getting the next question after Karan. So whoever answers the question, the next person in line will get it. And if nobody is able to answer the question, then once it may pass on to the audience, but the next fresh question will go on to the next person. So supposing the round started with Ashita, all four attempted, could not get it, then the next question will then go on to Aris, the second question, if nobody answers it. And even if somebody answers it correctly, then obviously the next person. So it keeps on bouncing around along the four participants. So roughly speaking, everybody has an equal shot at the answer. I know that was a bit garbled, but did everybody get a basic idea of how this works?
Yes.
Yes.
Great. Obviously, this quiz is online, so will depend on the honor system. No cheating, no blah blah. Cellular devices switched off, and I've switched. I've put the Zoom chat in a mode which the answers can only be. I mean, the chat can only be seen by the host and the co-host. I've just switched on the chat for host and co-host. So now, if anybody wants to answer the question in the chat, it will only be visible to me or the co-host. Others will not be able to answer. So if the audience wants to send in answers, once it passes on to them, they can do so through the chat. We'll be keeping the audio video on only for the participants. Okay. Any questions before we start? So this is the order in which we are going to go for today. The first 10, and then we'll be reversing the order. Any doubts?
Nope.
Okay. Then let the games begin. And as they say, may the odds be ever in your favor. Ashita, we start with the first question to you. Uh, if there are any doubts before we start answering, you can ask me any doubts in the question. If necessary, I'll give you some explanation. Okay, so the first question is a simple connect, and this is an exhaustive list. So in some questions, if I specify that it is an exhaustive list, it means these are the only items in that list, and there is no other item in that list. For example, if I say Ram, Bharat, Lakshman, and Shatrughan is an exhaustive list, it means these are the only four people in that list. So the four sons of King Dashrath, right? इनके अलावा पांचवा कोई नहीं था. So this is an exhaustive list, meaning इन पांच के अलावा इस लिस्ट में कुछ नहीं है. And the elements are Do Biga Zameen, Bimal Roy, Dilip Kumar, Meena Kumari, and Naushad. Now you have to tell me what connects these five entities.
Satya, what would be the time limit?
We do not have a set time limit, but about a minute, I believe, will be fine,
Okay,
so that we don't
okay, good
extend it
enough.
too much.
Good enough.
Yes. So आशिता, these are five names. और ये जो लिस्ट है इसमें इन पांच के अलावा कोई नाम नहीं हो सकता. तो दो बीघा जमीन, बिमल रॉय, दिलीप कुमार, मीना कुमारी, नौशाद, इन पांचों को क्या कनेक्ट कर सकता है?
I guess movie.
बट मूवीज में तो लाखों और मूवीज होंगे, राइट? मैं तो बोल सकता हूँ आरआरआर भी तो मूवी है. सो दिस इज एन एग्जॉस्टिव मींस इस पर्टिकुलर लिस्ट में और कुछ नहीं आ सकता. I hope that clarifies what is meant by an exhaustive list. So, is that your final answer? You want to keep it as movies, or you want to try?
I would try.
Okay.
Like maybe specific movie name. Like
Something specific. It could be anything, but something specific connecting these five things.
I guess I will go for movie only.
Movies. Okay. Passing on to Aris.
This is the list of the first winners of Filmfare Awards. The
Okay.
first Filmfare Award.
That's correct. Full 10 points to Aris
Inaugural
there.
Filmfare.
The inaugural Filmfare Award. That's perfectly fine. So, in 1954, the Filmfare Awards were started, and there were only five categories during that time: best film, best director, actor, actress, and director. So these were the first and the only five awards which were presented during the first ceremony of the Filmfare Awards. Great. So the score, I mean, Aris gets the first question plus 10, and we move on to the next person, that is Karan. So, Karan, here's the direct question for you. And this is an etymological question, a question for a word. I'm looking for a very specific word in English. This word originates from a 17th century English trading game, and the name of the game is somewhat similar from which this word comes. And the game involved two players and an arbitrator or an umpire. The players would present two possessions they would like to trade. The umpire would then decide whether the possessions were of equal value or not, and if they weren't, would calculate the discrepancy. The owner of the lesser object would make up the difference with money, and then all three participants would place forfeit money into a hat. If the two players agreed with the umpire's valuation, they would remove their hands from the hat with their palm open. If they disagreed, they would pull out their hands clenched in a fist. If both agreed or disagreed, the umpire would get the forfeit money. While if one agreed and the other didn't, the player who approved the transaction would receive the forfeit money. Now, here's an additional clue. The word that I'm looking for is also currently used in sports. For example, you may find this term in a sport like golf. So, look at the clue given and what specific word am I looking for?
I have a strong feeling this is poker.
Uh, would that be your final answer?
I think I'll go with poker.
Okay, it's not poker. Passing on to Piyush.
I'll let that pass.
Okay, Piyush passes it. Ashita?
I do not know.
Okay, passing on to Aris.
The word is currently used in sports like golf, you said, right?
Yes, among other sports, I mean, it can be used in a lot of things, but we frequently hear it in sports like golf.
Is it par?
Par, no. So okay, we'll take another round if you want. I can give a I can give a slight hint on how to work it out, and this will be plus five. Somebody gets it. So again, we start with Karan. The hint is look at the description of the game and just see what are they doing, what actions they're performing. I mean, so what are the key things? What are the key elements of this game? And try to connect that with a sport.
Wait, Monopoly.
No, that's not Monopoly. Moving on to Piyush.
I'll let it pass again.
Okay, Ashita, would you like to try?
Sir, 1 second. I'm reading the question. I'm like,
Okay.
This is more like answer based on the comprehensive passage in English exams.
Yes, Ashita. Nope. Okay, Aris.
Yeah, is it caddy?
No, it's not caddy. Okay. Would somebody from the audience like to try this? I don't know. If you can, audience, somebody wants to type in the answer, I'll just wait for 10 seconds. Uh, it's an interesting thing. So basically, they put their hand into a hat and then do something, something. A hat is also known as a cap. So the name of the game was a hand in cap, and the term which comes is a handicap. So in golf, you give the handicap to others, you give an advantage to others in sports. That's a handicap. So the word which originated from here was handicap.
Okay.
Okay. So nobody gets this one. We move on. So the last question was started with Karan. We will start with Piyush in this one. And correct me if I'm going wrong somewhere. But I believe the next question should be Piyush, right? Okay.
Yes.
Now, during the height of World War II, Nazi Germany was subject to a number of trade embargoes. And because of a lack of raw material and ingredients, the head of something Deutschland, Max Keith, decided to create a new dash for the German market using whatever they had, which he called the leftovers of leftovers. The name comes from the German word for imagination, and they had to stretch every bit of it to make this particular thing. And the dashes may all be different, but I'm looking for a very specific, famous brand from this story. What brand am I talking about?
I'll let that pass.
Okay. We go to Ashita. And you can make wild guesses. There is no negative marking.
French fries,
Huh?
leftovers, French fries,
French fries. No, we go on to Aris.
Is it Volkswagen?
Is it
Volkswagen?
Volkswagen? No, no, no. Moving on to Karan.
I have a strong feeling this is Coca-Cola. I recall Max Keith somewhere with Coca-Cola. I think this is Coca-Cola, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, so none of you got it on the first round. So we again start with Piyush. Karan is very, very close. You just now need to identify, looking at the clues, the second half especially. Karan is very, very close.
Which a bit of it. It's not my turn, but yeah.
No, so now you'll have to wait for all the others to
I'll pass it again.
pass. Okay, Ashita.
Yes.
Karan's answer was very, very close. So he had the right area. Any attempts? You're on mute. Okay.
I would also like to pass.
Pass. Okay. And finally, no, Aris.
Since you said it's close to what Karan said, means it's some drink or some beverage or something like that.
Mm,
In a
yes,
way,
in a way.
you want to identify the famous brand.
The brand, the specific brand that they created.
Okay. Mm, is it Johnny Walker?
No. And going on to Karan, would you like to take a shot at that?
I know for a fact it's not Pepsi. Pepsi is not German. I'm gonna go and do a gamble with Fanta.
Okay, the German word for imagination is fantasy, and the product is Fanta. So the company
That
was Coca-Cola Deutschland, right? Max Keith is Coca-Cola Deutschland, and because they could not actually import the product, and I mean they could not have it there, they used a lot of leftovers and created this drink. And the word imagination is fantasy. So from fantasy they got Fanta. So +5 to Karan there, and we move on to the next person. That is direct for Piyush here. Okay. Alistair Cook, 294 runs in 2011, Michael Clark, 329 runs in 2012, and Brendan McCullum, 302 runs in 2014. Now, these are among the three top scorers against India in the 21st century, and they have just one lucky charm in common. So, who is the lucky charm, or what is the lucky charm?
Could you repeat the names again?
So, Alistair Cook, 294 runs, Michael Clark, 329 runs, Brendan McCullum, 302 runs. They're there on the screen. I hope you can see the screen. The questions are all there on the screen. These are the three top scorers against India. There is some lucky charm in common among them. So, what is the lucky charm that these three gentlemen, cricketers obviously, would have common?
Is the answer name of the city?
No. I mean, since this is the first person answering, I can clarify a couple of things. I'm not looking for the name of a city. No.
Were they all openers?
Come again?
Were they all openers?
Openers, no, but lucky charm. There is something else, some third entity, some third party, or some external entity, which acts as a lucky charm.
I'll let it pass.
Okay. Passing on to Ashita. Would you like to try?
The lucky charm was like someone from cricket, a person name, right?
I can't clarify that. We could have asked that before the first person tried, but it would be unfair to others if I clarify now. I, I mean, once all four have an attempt, I can clarify.
Like they were dropped by someone Sharma, a cricketer. I do not.
Would you? What's your answer there?
There was a cricketer common in them. They
And
were
what?
dropped by some name and Sharma.
Okay, and what happened with this Sharma?
They were dropped by them. Him.
Okay, I'll give you full points for that. They were all dropped by Ishant Sharma in that particular inning, and after he dropped them, they all went to score this big thing. So full 10 points to Ashita on that. And I go on to Aries. The next direct question is to Aries now. Okay. During the Battle of Copenhagen in 1801, the commander of British forces, Admiral Sir Hyde Parker, signaled to Admiral Horatio Nelson to stop attacking a fleet of Danish ships using a system of signal flags. Now, Nelson did something and said, I really do not see the signal, and continued attacking. After his success, Sir Hyde Parker was disgraced and Nelson became the commander in chief of the fleet. Which common idiom or phrase did this particular incident give birth to?
Is it in hindsight?
In hindsight, no. Passing on to Karan.
I'll pass.
Okay, passing on to Piyush.
Ignoring the red flag.
No. Ashita.
I don't know. I pass.
Pass. Okay. Uh, so there is a very specific physical feature that Nelson had, and it's part of that particular physical feature of his, which also is part of the idiom. And the what he said is part of that feature, deformity, call it what you may. Uh, so we start with again Karan, I guess.
No, I suppose it's with me.
Aris. Okay, sorry. Yes.
Is it something to do with the Nelson thing of triple one, triple two, triple three, and someone hopping on the one leg? Nelson.
No. That's not it. Karan,
Thanks for the clue. It will be turning a blind eye.
that's correct
Deformity.
because Nelson was blind in one eye. So what he did was he shifted the telescope from one eye to the blind eye and literally couldn't see through it. And from this, you get the expression to turn a blind eye. So 5 points go to Karan for question number five. And we move on to the next one. Piyush, direct question to you. The Hijli detention camp is a former detention camp operated during the period of British colonial rule in India. Located in Hijli in the district of Midnapur West, West Bengal, it played a significant role in the Indian independence movement of 19th and 20th centuries. The large number of those who participated in armed struggles or the non cooperation movement against the British could not be accommodated in ordinary jails. The British colonial government decided to establish a few detention camps. The first one was located in Buxa Fort, followed by the creation of the Hijli detention camp in 1930. A significant moment in the Indian independence movement occurred in 1931 when two unarmed detainees, Santosh Kumar Mitra and Tarkeshwar Sen Gupta, were shot dead by the Indian Imperial Police. Subhash Chandra Bose came to Hijli to collect their bodies for interment. Many Indian nationalists, including Nobel laureate Rabindranath Tagore, voiced strong protests against the British Raj over this incident. And the firing, which later known as Hijli firing, is the only incident of police firing inside a detention camp. Now, all that kahani aside, the simple question: what is this location famous for today?
What is Hijli famous for today?
The Hijli detention camp specifically. Yes, that location.
I'll let it pass again.
Okay. Ashita,
IIT college.
come again.
IIT college.
Can you be more specific than that?
I somewhere like
I mean, you just need a bit of geography now. But fine, I'll give it to you because the Midnapur is the location where you have Kharagpur. So it is the location of the Indian Institute of Technology, Kharagpur. IIT Kharagpur is what this is. Okay, so I'll give that to Ashita plus 10 there and move on to Ariz. Ariz, the next one. Okay. The term X derives originally from the Gaelic Isbitia or Uskube. I mean, I don't know how to pronounce that, but it means water of life. And Gaelic is that branch of Celtic spoken in the Highlands of Scotland. The 15th century alchemists who first used the term aqua vitae were doing so to refer to distilled dash, and they were searching for immortality both in addition to wealth and longevity. Now, a minor difference in the spelling of this particular word indicates the place of origin of the product. So, what word am I looking for?
Means you're looking for the
I'm looking for a very specific word.
place of origin of the product.
No, no, I'm looking for a word. The product itself. The product itself. Or
The
it's
product
most,
itself.
yes, the name is derived from the Gaelic words, and if you if you spell it differently, it indicates a different thing. So there are
Okay.
multiple ways in which it is currently spelled, and the difference in the spelling, it indicates the place of origin, and it means, I mean, the thing is water of life and a lot of things like that.
Something to do with some elixir.
Elixir is a very generic thing. Can you be more specific than that?
The elixir of sort of power or life, sort of something like that.
No. Passing on to Karan.
I think this is some form of alcohol.
And
Oh, there's an and to it, is it? Okay.
can you be more specific than that? Like Aris also mentioned elixir. Elixir is also just a magical liquid. So alcohol is also a very broad term.
Usually, when it comes to distillation, it's usually whiskey. I'm gonna go with whiskey.
So is that your final answer? Whiskey?
Whiskey, distilled whiskey. Yeah.
Great. So the word is whiskey because the E makes a difference. If you spell it with an E, it refers to the distillation in Ireland or US. And if there's no E, then basically it's Scottish in origin, although recently even Canadian and Japanese. So, yes, the elixir of life or the water of life that we were looking for is basically whiskey. Great. So, 10
I
points
didn't even
to.
know the one without E existed so far, actually.
Oh, no. So, yes, that's a huge thing. Whether we spell it KEY or KY. And apparently, both are acceptable, but they are very specific in the place of origin. By the way you spell it, it refers to. So, EY versus just Y. They are very, very distinct to each other.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay.
That's news to me. Thanks. Okay.
Yeah. And I was like, when Aris mentioned elixir, I said, okay, for some of us, yes, it can be considered an elixir, but I couldn't take that as an answer. Anyway,
Thanks,
okay.
Aris. That took me thinking in that direction. Then I thought, okay, distilled, what can it be? So yeah, kind of. Thanks, Aris.
Okay. Okay. So the next direct question passes on to Piyush here. Okay. The original book about X begins, and these are the starting lines. X was a little Chinese boy, and the tale was set in China, centered around a lazy little boy who lived at home with his mother. Now, the original tales do feature many Middle Eastern elements, and Disney's 1992 animated film drew inspiration from the city of Baghdad to create the magical metropolis, the city of Y. So, I need two specific answers here. One, obviously, what or who is X, and Y, the name of the city. Any guesses? No negative marking, so go for it.
No, it's not as if I'll think for longer, I'll get the answer. So I'll let it pass again.
Okay. Moving on to Ashita. Do you like to try?
So pass.
Pass, Aris.
Mm, no, even I'll have to pass on this.
Okay. Going on to Karan.
In that case, can we get some sorts of a clue?
No, yeah, I
Considering
mean,
all this.
you'll have to try. I mean, we started with Piyush, so you'll have to make an attempt before I give any clue.
Hmm. The only Middle Eastern Disney movie that I can think of is Aladdin, but Aladdin is not Chinese. That is where I'm kind of a little, torn. Middle Eastern, Baghdad, that is, I want to go with Aladdin and Agrabah, hands down.
You're freezing
I'm
that.
gonna go with that. I am quite sure I'm wrong, but I'm still gonna go with it. Aladdin as X and Agrabah as Y.
Okay, it is Aladdin and Agrabah. So it's a very common misconception that Aladdin was is Middle Eastern. The story is Middle Eastern, but the story, the actual book of Aladdin, it begins that Aladdin was a little Chinese boy. That's the one thing which throws most people off. You did get it right. It is Aladdin and Agrabah. That's exactly the answer that I'm looking for. Surprising, surprising. So a lot of people, they think, we think of Aladdin, we think of the Middle Eastern thing. Everything is Middle Eastern, but the actual version of the story, because this is from Sherazad and with 1000 story something something, right? So the original description starts with Aladdin being a Chinese boy. So yes, we got it spot on. That's Aladdin and the city of Agrabah plus 10 there, which means again the next direct goes to Piyush here. Okay. Okay, a little bit of for the youngsters. A two-letter, I mean, first name, last name. This person is actually named Peter Hernandez, and he took the name Dash after the famous wrestler Dash Samartino, who he resembled in appearance according to his father. And the surname Dash, so the first name and the second name, the second name was inspired by his early fans who likened his talent to extraterrestrial abilities. So you need to identify this famous singer slash songwriter. This direct is to Piyush.
Is a very new singer, as in current.
Uh, Definitely not our generation. Not
Then I
very
wouldn't
new.
know.
Around a decade, if I'm not mistaken. At least a decade. Yeah.
Is he alive?
I hope so. Very much so. Very much so.
Then I'm not aware.
Okay. Passing on to
I was
Ashita.
connecting to a different singer who's dead.
So Bruno
Okay.
Mars.
Come again.
Bruno Mars.
Exactly, that's Bruno Mars that we are referring to, and I have absolutely no idea anything. I mean, Uptown Funk is the only song that I know about Bruno Mars, but from the look on her face, I was pretty sure that she knew this answer. Okay, so plus 10 to Ashita on that one, which means we move on to the direct to Aris. Okay, a bit longish story. Every day, numerous mill workers would have lunch breaks that were too short for a full meal. As they had to return to rigorous physical labor immediately after, a light lunch was preferred to a heavy one. Now, noticing the plight of the workers, a local vendor created the dish using leftover ingredients of other dishes available on the menu. Roti or rice, which would be saved for other dishes, was replaced with X. Curries that usually go with Indian bread or rice were amalgamated into just one spicy mixture, the Y. The tasty spicy dish was an instant hit with the mill workers and eventually found its way into restaurants, only to become one of the most loved dish all over the city. The first stalls were located near Old Cotton Exchange because traders waited for the New York cotton prices in 60s, and these were carried prominently in all papers that came in late into the night and early in the morning. Identify X and Y. Two words. I want both the words. 5 points each. Although if you know one, you know the other.
Uh, is this something to do if there are mill workers and something to do with Mumbai? The dishes.
Uh,
It's traders waited for New York cotton process. Okay, sorry. Can I ask this or I have to give the answer directly?
no, you are the first person, so I would say okay. Uh, what do I say? Not a bad path to follow.
Okay. Is it vada pav?
Uh, so X and Y. I need two words. So which one
Okay,
is X and which one?
idli vada.
Come again?
Idli vada.
No. Passing on to Karan.
Chicken tikka?
No. Passing on to Piyush.
Pav and bhaji.
It is the pav and the bhaji, right? Right, and rice and roti was replaced with the pav, and all the leftovers were mixed. So that was the bhaji. So we are talking about the pav bhaji, and we have Piyush on the 10th question, finally opening up the score here, right? So we have the first 10 questions done, and let me do a quick tally of the scores. So I think we have Ashita with Ishant Sharma, IIT, and Bruno Mars at 30. We have Aries who gave the Filmfare Wala Funda at 10. We have Karan, he got Fanta on the second try. He got to turn a blind eye on the second try. Then Whiskey and Aladdin. So 30. And finally with Pav Bhaji, Piyush on 10. So 30, 10, 30, 10. I hope my scorekeeping is on point here. Anusha, can you confirm that the scores? Am I
Yes,
right
the
there?
yeah, the scores are
Scores
right.
are right, right? Okay. So the last question was answered by Piyush. So now we start with Karan and we'll go in the reverse order. So we'll follow Karan, then Aris, then Ashita, then Piyush. Is that fine with everyone?
Okay.
So the direct question now goes to Karan. Okay. This is not an exhaustive list, meaning there can be other things in this list. But in this, we have the John von Neumann Lecture Prize for Applied Mathematics, Marconi Prize for Communications, the Turing Award for Computer Science, the Faraday Medal or the Edison Medal, Faraday Medal, the Edison Medal for Electrical Engineering, the Fermi Award for Energy Research, Abel Prize Fields Medal for Mathematics, Florence Nightingale Medal for Nursing, Red Dot Design Award for Design. So, what is the funda which connects all of these? There's a very specific funda that I'm looking for. And this is not an exhaustive list. There are other things on this list.
All these are awards based on the people who made a invention or a discovery in those particular fields. Like Marconi invented TV, radio. Alan Turing was the one who gave a breakthrough in computer science. Michael Faraday and Edison, we know the contribution they've given to electrical engineering. Enrico Fermi with the fermions and the energy research. Abel, I'm not getting his first name. Florence Nightingale, who was known for her nursing. So that is my answer, where they have made a significant contribution to their field, and there's an award named after these people.
But most of the awards would be after some person, and the red dot design, that's not a person. Anyway, but moving on to the next one. No, that's not the fund I'm looking for. So, Aris, would you like to give it a try?
Are these awards given by any famous university, uh, like say
Uh,
Harvard or Oxford, something like that, Cambridge?
no, that's not the fund I'm looking for. Moving on to Ashita.
Sir, I would like to pass.
Pass. Okay. Piyush.
None of them have been won by an Indian.
But then there would be so many awards, and we don't know whether they have been won by India. No,
No,
that's not the
I'll
funda.
pass. I'll pass.
Okay.
I'll pass.
So, okay, I'll give you another hint here, and again, then we will start with Karan.
Okay.
Uh, they are it has something to do with a name, a very specific name, one specific name. The funders, they are all related to one specific name, which is, I mean, if I may use, or an alias, if that helps. I'm looking for a name, an alias.
If you can be a tad bit more, like, can you clarify what sorts of alias, in which direction are we supposed to think? Probably that can help. Because it's not an exhaustive list, so there can be a lot
Okay,
more options to this.
yes,
But
they all have a common alias. Piyush has a question before Karan tries.
I had an answer.
No,
Should
okay.
I
Then
put it in chat?
wait for Karan. Wait for Karan. Wait for Karan.
I'll pass. I
Okay,
have
Karan's
no.
passing. Going on to Piyush.
Are they all called the Nobel Prize?
That's exactly the fund I'm looking for. So they are all known as the Nobel Prize of their fields. Officially, the name is
I
something
think
to
so.
I'm
do
The
with.
order
sorry
was
to interrupt.
after Karan,
The
I was there
order,
in the
the
order.
order
Hold
should
on.
have been
Yes.
Aris, Ashita,
Aris.
and then
Oh,
After Karan, I
Piyush.
was
so,
there.
oh, my mistake. My mistake. My mistake. Would Aris have got this?
Honestly, yes.
Yes, then I will scrap
I
this question. I'm
too
so
had.
sorry for that. I'm so sorry for that. But I think we will scrap the question because I should have gone with the correct order. That's what happens when you reverse the order. Okay, my mistake. So I'm not giving any marks for this. So sorry for this, Piyush.
That's
Uh,
okay. That's okay.
then I think we'll start with Aris, right? We'll start with
Okay.
Aris, and please remind me who is supposed to be next, so that I also said this, doing this for the first time online. Okay. Ah, again, connection, not an exhaustive list. Miley Cyrus, Harry Styles, Matt Damon, Trevor Noah, Sylvester Stallone, Luke Hemsworth, David Hasselhoff, Donald Glover, Elon Musk, Jennifer Connelly. And a few of these names have been separated with a plus sign. But I mean, I don't need the plus sign, I just need a general connect.
Satya, before Aris answers this, if you could
Yes.
if you could tell us what does that plus sign signify, that would help.
They're slightly different from the others. Whatever connects them, they're connected in a slightly different way. The main funda is the same, but in slightly different way.
Are they the most followed on Twitter or any such social media sites?
No. He's, I believe Ashita should be the next one, if I'm not mistaken. Where is she?
Well,
Yes.
I know
The next
half
is
of
Ashita.
them,
Okay.
like singer, actor, but the Elon Musk,
Yes.
maybe Hollywood or Elon Musk is not American, I guess. Half of like Hollywood actors and singers.
But that would be a tremendous list. And I'm looking for a very, very specific connect here.
I would like to pass.
Pass. Okay. So Ashita, next Piyush. You're on mute. I can't hear you. Yes.
I'll pass that as well.
Okay. So now coming to Karan.
I am pushing this based on the connect between Sylvester Stallone and Luke Hemsworth. Is this got to do with the Expendables movie series?
No, that's not the funda I'm looking for. So we have got one circle done. So I'll continue. We'll start again with Aries. I'll give you a slight clue. Uh,
Mhm.
it has something to do with Hollywood. Uh,
With
it
Bollywood,
has Hollywood, Hollywood,
Hollywood. Okay.
Hollywood. It has something to do with Hollywood, and it has something to do with acting and the three plus, that is Miley Cyrus, Trevor Noah, and Jennifer Connelly.
Mm.
They are slightly different in the sense that they do not. They are not. They are invisible. I'll put it that way.
Wait, they are not.
They are not visible. They are invisible in a way.
Something to do with the Star Walk being dedicated with all these people.
Star Wars, no.
No,
I'll
not
pass
Star
on
Wars. I'm saying the Star Walk,
the
the
Star
Star
Walk. Okay, the Bollywood Walk of Fame. No,
Hollywood.
no, no,
Yes,
no,
yes.
no, 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 not that. Elon Musk, I don't think would be eligible
That,
for that.
that even I was thinking, but they are
Correct.
crazy. They might give him for some.
Okay,
And
no, no, that's not the fund I'm looking for. Ashita?
Uh, there was a function, I do not remember the name, but every Hollywood actor used to Met Gala.
No, that is not the Met Gala. And why would Miley Cyrus and the others be invisible in that? No, it's not the Met Gala I'm looking for. Okay, last attempt, Piyush.
I'll let it pass again.
Okay, 10 seconds for the audience. Let's see if somebody in the audience gets this one.
can I still attempt, or it's now only to
No,
the
no,
audience?
no, no, it's just for audience. I mean, if you,
Okay.
no points there. If you just want to attempt, fine, but no points there.
I did not get a second chance. Did I get?
Oh, we went there, right? We went with Aris, Ashita, Piyush. Oh, no, your chance is still left. Yeah, your chance is still. Yeah, suddenly saw you disappear from the screen. So, yeah, chance is still
Oh
left.
no, I just had a work message, so I just thought I'll just go off
Okay,
video,
okay, okay,
reply to that, and come back.
okay. No issues. You still have a
I,
chance.
I think probably the famous breakups of Hollywood.
No. So
Something to
nobody.
do with NFG.
No. So this is something which youngsters might get, or people like me are very enthusiastic. They all have played cameos in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and the three Miley Cyrus, Trevor Noah, and Jennifer Connelly, they were invisible in the sense they only had a voiceover part in the films. They were not physically present on screen, but all the others they actually had a cameo. Of course, the most famous one being Stanley himself, and that's the reason I don't put Stanley on the list. But these are all people who have played a cameo in one or the other movie of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Iron Man, Thor, and all the other things. Okay, so no points being scored on that one. We move on to the next question. So we start with Ashita. Am I right? Aris started the last one, right?
That is correct. It will be Ashita.
Ashita. Okay. All right. Dash was born in April 1564 in a town in the middle of England. His family were also in the middle, meaning not rich but not poor. His dad had a number of jobs, including selling leather and wool, tasting beer, and as a glove maker. And the family, all five of them, lived above a glove shop. Now, although Dash was taught Latin at his local school, spelling was not part of the lessons and he spelt words however he wanted. Married at the tender age of 18, Dash had three children in 3 years. Dash lived through and survived a pandemic, one of a number of waves of the bubonic plague. Very sadly, however, his son died of the plague, aged just 11. And this affected Dash's work, and themes like disease, death, and grief ran through many of his works. Which person am I talking about? This is the direct question to Ashita.
Uh, like he's a writer or something.
Mm, I can't specify that.
Shakespeare, I guess. I guess.
You're, is that your final answer?
Yes,
So the person you are saying is
William Shakespeare.
William
Shakespeare.
Shakespeare. That's exactly the work I'm looking for. So 1564, William Shakespeare. That's exactly. So plus 10 to Ashita there. And in reverse order. So now we go to Piyush. Direct question. Okay. The X city is located on the south bank of the Tungabhadra River in Bellary district of northern Karnataka. And the city was built around the religious center of the Virupaksh temple at the famous UNESCO listed World Heritage Site of Hampi. Now, the lost Indian city was home to the X kingdom, so the name of the city and the kingdom it's same, and that rose to its prime under the rule of Krishna Devaraya. However, some of the remains found here date back to around 300 BC. The city also finds a mention in the Hindu legend of Ramayana as Kishkinda, the realm of the monkey gods. So identify X.
Vijayanagar था.
That's
Vijayanagar.
perfectly fine. You are looking at the Vijayanagar Empire. So direct plus 10 to Piyush there, Vijayanagar Empire. And we move on to, okay, we move on to Karan. So Karan, here's your direct question. X's physical appearance was inspired by Bild Lilly, a German dash created in 1952, which was based on a high-end call girl named Lily, who was featured in the comic strip Bill Zaito. X was sold as an adult novelty in bars and tobacco shops, and definitely not for children. Ruth saw the Bild Lily while on vacation in Europe and brought it home. What is X?
Some sorts of a clue for this, please.
Uh, if everybody is fine, I can give a clue. If all the participants agree, only then I can give a clue. If
Yeah.
somebody thinks they can crack it with the existing stuff, then no clues.
I wanna try.
Okay, so she wants to try, so I can't give any more clues. One round, if nobody gets it, only then. Uh, this is direct
I'll
for
go with,
Karan.
then I'll go ahead and give it a shot.
Give it.
Barbie?
The Barbie doll
Yeah.
is exactly the answer I'm looking for. So Bill or Lily is actually a doll which was in Germany, and Ruth, because the Barbie movie came out and we did hear the name Ruth, was the creator of this doll. So yes, it is the Barbie doll that I'm looking for. 10 points to Karan on that. Ajita, would that have been your answer?
Yes, sir.
Ah, so
I
bad.
just
Karan
saw
got it.
the Margot Robbie's trailer for Barbie, and I recall mentioning this Ruth character in there. That's why I
Yes,
was
the
like,
name. Exactly. I was
yeah.
contemplating whether to put the name. I said, okay, let me put it. If somebody has seen the trailer, all the more benefit for them. Okay.
I cracked it because of the Ruth name. I saw the recently I saw Barbie movie.
So most people would know because of that reference, I guess. Okay. So I this was answered by Karan. So the next direct goes to Aries, right?
Right.
Yes. Okay. After Richard Harris, the actor who originally portrayed this iconic character, passed away, the casting directors began looking for a new actor to play the character X. Y stated on Twitter that his agent had asked him to attend the role's audition, and he wrote, "My agent wanted me to audition for X's character after Richard Harris died. I was asked if I would like to audition for it, but I wouldn't audition for it." The role was later essayed by the actor, who won awards for his roles in various productions, such as A View from the Bridge, Man of the Moment, Gosford Park, The King's Speech, and Perfect Strangers, among others. So I need two specific things. One is X, the character X, and one is Y, the person who put this tweet on Twitter.
Satya, please don't give any clue for this. I really know the answer to this. No clues for this one, please.
This is the direct one for
Aries, I have to wait for
Aries.
all of
Aries.
them to say no.
Okay. It's painful when you are the last person in the clue and you know the answer, right? Okay.
Uh, is it Al Pacino?
Al Pacino is X or Y? I'm presuming it's Y. Yeah,
Yes.
Al Pacino is the actor. Okay, and the character?
Uh, Character is the son of the Godfather that he played. Sorry, the Godfather.
Vito Corleone.
Sorry,
Vito Corleone, the Godfather.
no,
That's the
as
this one, Michael, Sonny. No,
yeah,
none of
Sunny,
them. I
Sunny.
mean, I'm giving out the name, so it's not. No, that's not the answer. Moving on to Ashita.
Sir, I would like to pass.
Okay, moving on to Piyush.
Can't pass it as well. Karan, go for
Okay,
it.
Karan, go for it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So it is X is Albus Dumbledore from Harry Potter series,
Okay,
and Y is Nasiruddin Shah. He was
that's the
offered this role, but he denied.
yeah. So it became very popular as a meme that Indian actors this and that they actually created this figure. So yes, Albus
Yes.
Dumbledore from the Harry Potter series and Indian actor Nasruddin Shah apparently has claimed this on Twitter that he has been. I mean, he had been offered the role and blah 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 and all that. Okay, so 10
Yeah,
points
and
to
it
Karan.
eventually went to Michael Gambon,
Michael Gambon,
actor who
correct.
looks similar to Richard Harris.
Richard Harris, yes. So the Perfect Stranger and all that. That was the filmography. That's a very short, small part of Michael Gambon's filmography. Okay, plus 10 to Karan. That means the next direct again goes to Aris. Okay, okay. William Henry Perkin was an 18-year-old student at London's Royal College of Chemistry, eager to impress his teacher. His homework assignment was to run experiments at home during the Easter break. Perkin was tasked with finding a cheap way to produce quinine, a substance used to treat malaria which had to be extracted from the bark of exotic trees and was thus expensive. The young man thought he could make it himself in his simple home lab in London, so he started mixing ingredients. To make artificial quinine, Perkin turned to coal tar, the discarded sludge from Victorian gas lighting. It was believed that the two substances shared a similar chemical structure. But once he finished his concoction, instead of the normally colorless quinine, all that was left in his test tube was a thick black goo. When he tried to wash it off, it left behind a remarkable effect. And remarkably, he found that the effect transferred to a cloth with untarnished brilliance. William Henry Perkin had failed to synthesize quinine, but had accidentally invented something And this is one of the most astonishing examples of serendipity in science. So all I'm looking for is what exactly did Perkin invent?
So, Satya, you're looking for the three blanks, like one, two, three.
I mean, it is three blanks, but I will accept a close enough. I don't want exact. If you give me exact, perfect. But even if you give me one, and if it's a good part of the answer, I'll accept it. It's fine. I mean, just for the sake of clarity, I've put three blanks there.
Okay.
This is the direct one to Aries, right?
Is it something to do with some wrinkle-free fabric or something like that?
No. Passing on to Ashita.
Something like dye or something.
Come again.
Dye. DYE.
I'll give you the answer. He actually invented the first synthetic dye. Yeah, the effect on clothes, it stained the color. And this is literally the example of the first synthetic dye which was ever created. So 10 points to Ashita there. Okay, that means the next direct question goes to Piyush. Okay, Piyush. Bridget Driscoll from UK received fatal injuries when she walked into the path of a car moving at 4 miles per hour or 6.4 kilometers per hour as it was giving demonstration rides in the grounds of the Crystal Palace, London, UK on the 17th of August 1896. Bridget Driscoll was about 44 years old and the car belonged to the Anglo-French Motor Car Company. Now, what distinction did Bridget receive as a result of this particular incident? I use the word distinction loosely. Or to be
Was she the
specific,
first motor
what would she
accident
be
victim?
remembered for? Come again?
First motor accident victim?
I'll give it to you. Yes. So she was literally the first pedestrian to be killed by a car. Not a great thing to be remembered for, but yes. So Bridget Driscoll is known as the first pedestrian victim to be killed by a car. Okay. So 10 points to Piyush there. We move ahead with the next question to Karan. Okay. The ex brothers accidentally left a pot of boiled dash on the stove for several days. The mixture turned moldy, but the product that emerged was dry and thick. And through experimentation, they eliminated the mold part and created Y. So, two parts I want. One, identify X, that is the brothers, and Y is what they created. 5 points each.
Just trying to think of chemists who left things boiling. The brothers. I mean, some sorts of clue for this place if everybody's okay.
Uh, should I give more? Is everybody okay? Does everybody need a clue, or would anybody like to try without a
No.
clue? Everybody is okay with a clue?
I'm fine with the clue.
Okay. So this is something which even common people uh, would be. I mean, they would use it, so to say, every day. Nothing technical about it. It's something very common, and they eliminated mold, so that should give you some sort of a direction.
That's what I'm thinking. What kind of things can get moldy? And I can only think of food items.
Okay.
And I'm just trying to think of the brothers who invented food items as such. I'm just going in that direction. Nah, I don't know X. I'm gonna go with Y as probably just a random guess. Maybe bread.
No. We move to Aris.
Is it something to do with the plaster of Paris or something like that?
No. Moving on to Ashita.
Sir, I would like to pass the question.
Okay. Coming to Piyush.
I'll pass that as well.
Okay. We started with Karan, right?
Yes.
Okay. So,
One more clue, Sathya.
uh,
One more clue.
one more clue. So, food is a very great is a great path to follow there. You are very right when you said that you're thinking food.
Is it ketchup?
Not ketchup. Going on to Aris.
No clue.
Mm, boiled
Yeah.
boiled eggs. Just a wild
Not
guess.
no, not boiled eggs. Ashita.
Chocolate.
Chocolates. No. Piyush.
Cheese.
Cheese. No. Throwing this to the audience, and if somebody here would like to try for no points, go for it. Think breakfast.
Cornflakes.
We are
Skills.
talking about Kellogg's cornflakes. So the Kellogg brothers were experimenting with boiled grains, and then they left it to dry. It became dry, and they just eliminated the mold. And that's the story apparently of how they came up with Kellogg's cornflakes. Okay, uh,
Uh,
so we go on to the next one. So this Karan was given this question. Nobody answered it. So the next one should move on to Aris. Correct?
Correct.
Yes. Okay. X's original last name could have been Schicklgruber, but for the fact that his stepfather adopted another last name at the age of 40. X was rejected by the Vienna Academy of Fine Arts and lived in poverty trying to sell his work. Now, although he had followed many healthy habits, it was undermined by his alleged use of opiates, which led him to be prone to shaking at the end of his life. Spurred by poverty in his initial years, he notably ordered the government to buy copies of his book Y to give as state wedding gifts to newlyweds, thus generating massive royalties for X. So I need two things. One is identify X and Y, which is the book.
It's Adolf Hitler and Menkev.
Exactly right. Plus 10 points for that. So it is Adolf Hitler and Mein Kampf. Okay, with that, we give plus 10 to Aries and we eliminated one question. So should we be taking one more question to round of 20? We'll do that, right? So now the direct question will go to Ashita, and this is the last question of the entire thing. Okay. So the last question, Ashita. While many athletes can be proud that they caused rule changes, the former boxing lightweight champion of the world, Ray Mancini, is not among them. Nicknamed Boom Boom, he was a heavy hitter like Mike Tyson, winning 23 of his 29 fights via knockout. Nonetheless, his punching power was too dangerous for professional boxing rules in the 80s. In 1982, Mancini faced South Korean Kim Duk-koo in a title defense fight. And in a brutal spectacle, the champion was dominant with the challenger suffering from heavy blows. Finally, it was all over in the 14th round as Boom Boom won by TKO, that is total knockout. But unfortunately, a few seconds after the end, Kim fell into a coma and died 4 days later. Also, his mom and match referee later committed suicide while Mancini himself fought with depression. So this tragedy made all boxing organizations introduce a very specific rule in the sport. What rule are we talking about?
Wearing gloves and head protector.
No, protective gloves and headgear. No, that's not what I'm looking for. Moving on to Piyush.
The role of referee stopping the fight.
No, it's not the rule of referee stopping the fight. Karan?
I can I ask a okay. It's a specific rule change we are talking about, right?
Yes, there was a specific rule which was changed slash introduced.
I think it's the number of rounds because boxing rounds usually currently are 12 rounds or less. And this one says 14th. So I'm gonna go with number of rounds reduced from whatever that was to 12 is my answer.
That's exactly the right answer. Now, the rule which was introduced was professional bouts are limited to a maximum of 12 rounds after this. So Karan answers that one and gets another plus 10. And with that, we come to the end of this quiz. Just give me a moment while I quickly add up the scores. So Ashita got William Shakespeare and she got Die. And with 30 in the first round and 20 in the second, she has a total of 50. Aries had 10 in the first round and he got another 10 for Adolf Hitler and Mein Kampf. So that makes it a total of 20. Uh, Karan had 30 in the first one. Then he got Barbie, followed by Dumbledore Nasruddin, and the last one, that is the 21. So 30 plus 30, 60. And we had Piyush with 10 in the first round. He got Vijayanagar Empire. He got first pedestrian in the car accident 20. So a total of 30. So the final scores, Karan wins with 60. We have Ashita at second place with 50. We have Piyush at third with 30. And we have Aries with 20 points. I hope my calculations are correct. Anusha, can you confirm that?
All correct.
Yeah. Yeah, these are the
Okay.
right scores.
Right scores. Okay. So, guys, I hope everybody had fun in this. I definitely did, although with slight hiccups, this being the first edition that we have ever done this. Any feedback that you would like to give? Any changes? Maybe any topics I should simplify this? Maybe this was too high funda, and maybe I should be more into pop culture and stuff. I think any feedback is welcome here.
I think it's good. We'll come better prepared the next time.
That's literally no way you can accept. I mean, just have keep reading a lot, have a lot of fun. But I hope at least that we are on the right track. And would you like to see more of these type of questions in forthcoming quizzes?
Yes, definitely.
Definitely yes.
Definitely.
Okay.
One
So
small request.
yes.
I try to keep the length of the questions a little shorter. It took us some time to read through the
Yeah.
entire thing.
I know a
So
couple of questions long for that. Okay, I'll try, but some of them are purposely kept long because most of the time half the thing is a red herring. You don't need to read it; just the last one liner would have been enough to ask the question. But yes,
correct.
I'll try to do that. Okay. Anything
That is
else?
only one suggestion that I have. I mean, it was like,
Great.
by the time I finished reading the end of it, I'm like, what? Shuru mein kya hua tha? That. So that is the
Got
only
that.
thing I felt. Otherwise, I had a lot of fun. It was fun. Thank you so much.
Got
It
it.
was a pleasure.
Great.
I,
Uh,
I would like to mention one thing.
Go ahead.
I really liked when some of the participants, when they were trying to guess the answer, they were actually talking what was running on their mind. So like how Karan was saying, distillation, so whiskey. So
Okay.
that actually brings in more interactive level and also shows whether you're going in the right direction or not. And another thing, how these questions can be easily, the answers can be worked out, whether you know the answer or not, but these clues are, just dropped here or there, and it's for you to how you work them out.
Yeah, I know a couple
So
of
I
questions
really like
where
that.
a couple of questions were like, okay, you have to know it. But I will try to include more
Yes.
questions where it is workoutable, where you can actually work out the answer from just the data given. Okay, I'll do that.
And one more request. This time you
Yes.
had a very general quiz. Try to have specific subject quizzes as well. Like, I mean, the only Marvel movie that I've seen so far is Eternals. But if you ask Harry Potter, I've seen all Harry Potter movies. Yeah,
Okay.
judge me all you want. But if you have specific subject quizzes, that would
uh,
actually also
we are
attract
actually, I mean, we are
more
actually
audience.
planning, not something which I'm very keen on, but something which apparently a lot of people would love to have is quizzes based on Bollywood. I'm not into sports, but maybe a sports
Crowd
themed
pleaser.
quiz, crowd pleasers. But fine, I'll try to come up with subject specific quizzes, and maybe if we come across a subject which interests you, then we could have. But Karan, I think if I have a Harry Potter quiz, it's just you and me who's going to play all day round. You can ask me 10 questions, I'll ask you 10 because I don't know of many. And forget kids, I've not even met kids who are into Harry Potter these days. But fine, if we get enough number of participants, maybe why not just a Harry Potter quiz? There are tons of questions I have in mind for that. Okay.
So there are
Again,
pubs in Pune that hosts Harry Potter quizzes also. So I've never been to one, but
oh,
I've seen ads that says that this week's quiz theme is Harry Potter. All the Potterheads just come out. So
I
that
mean,
happens, and
I,
that's the thing. So like
unfortunately, sitting in Ahmedabad, we don't have pubs, dry state and all. But I would love to, I mean, sadly, we have not had much of the even the quizzing culture here. Although we have a lot of great academic institutions where we would have great quizzing minds, but somehow I haven't seen much of quizzing happening. So just a small attempt to see if we can get a few like-minded people together to make it happen. Anyway, thanks everybody. I hope everybody had a good time, and we'll try to keep coming up with more of these general and specific quizzes. And we'll coordinate and have it sent, and we'll try to get more participants. And in the meantime, you can always send your feedback on WhatsApp to Anusha. I guess she's the one who's been the contact person for everyone. So huge thanks for Anusha for pushing me to do this and coordinating all the participants. With that, I wish you all a good night and keep quizzing. Have
I'm
fun.
sorry. I wanted one more input from a lot of the participants. What would you think is a good time and a good
Okay.
day when we should organize this? Like this Friday 9 o'clock was just a random thing that both of us, it was convenient for us and we decided and just started it.
Mhm.
What what do you think would be a good suitable time and day?
This is the perfect time and day, I suppose.
Yeah.
It won't affect the
Okay.
weekends. It won't affect the office timing. So this is the perfect thing, I
Mhm.
guess.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Weekends again, a lot of people
Saturday,
already have some
Saturday people have
engagements, so we
exactly,
thought
yes.
maybe yes.
Okay. So let's do a couple of
Okay
rounds. We'll
then.
try to keep it at this same time, and then we'll see as it where it leads us. Chalo, everyone.
So,
Have fun. Have a good night,
Thank
and thanks
you.
for
Okay.
participating
Thank
in the
you.
first
Good
ever
night.
round of the quiz.
good night.
Good night.
thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.
Good
Okay.
night.
Bye.
So,
Bye.